Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.wordpress.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make one of the swap cards we made a while back for the party that I did. It was my very first Stampin' Up! Party. It took 6 hours, so I need to rein my time down a little bit. But everybody had a really good time. This is one of the cards that we made. It's using the Cable Knit Textured Impressions Dynamic folder. I think that's right. Dynamic folder, texture, whichever. It's the Cable Knit. And it's actually a really thick embossing folder, and it gives a really big feel to this. So this actually feels like a sweater. I'm sure you've seen it before, but this is what we're going to make today. I actually did this one using the Bird Builder punch, but if you don't have that, you could use the classic label punch. So I punched all these little guys out, and a while back I did a swap using the Warmth and Cheer Designer Series paper stack, and I had all these little pieces left. So I thought I'll make a video, but in case you don't have this will be another alternative. So I'm going to try it and see what it looks like. This will be my first time. I haven't made one besides this Bird Builder punch here. So again, another choice if you have it. But I used just the extra pieces that I had, and I punched them out with the classic label punch. I did some, but I'm sure we're going to need some extras. I think I ended up using like 16 bird wings on this one. So this is backed on Cherry Cobbler. Today we're going to be using Always Artichoke. And I'm going to get this out of the way and show you how to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, let me just turn this sideways so we have a nice layer. So one thing that you want to do with your paper, we're using Whisper White today, is you want to wet it because it helps the threads to be broken up a little bit more in the cardstock, and you get a much nicer sweater feel. Okay, so on this with the Sizzix Stampin' Up! Mark, this is the depression side. This is over here the impression side. So what we're going to do is we're going to wet the side that is going to have this face down. So we're going to actually flip it over this way. We are going to still do our cardstock, so the sweater texture is running this direction. Okay, but what we're going to do, I have a Stampin' Spritzer just full of tap water. We're going to go ahead and spray our cardstock. Let me just make sure I put this correctly. And it doesn't have to be soaking wet, but just a nice wetness because it will help break up the fibers. Okay, we'll see if that's too wet. I haven't done this too many times. So we're going to fold it over, and we're going to put this into our Big Shot with our cutting pad, and we're going to crank it through. Okay. All right. So, of course, once again, I did it backwards. I should have done it the other way, so the depression. It still is very, what's the word I want to use? Textured. But I still didn't do it the way I wanted to. So I'm going to show you one more time. I'm just going to roll one more piece through really quickly. Just grab my trimmer. I have one more piece right here. Left over from my card. Okay, so this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it this way. So I fibbed. You want to have the Sizzix Stampin' Up! Part facing up. Sorry. With me, you'll always learn something, even if it's how to do it twice, and the other way is the correct way. So we're going to just spray this just a little. Okay. Oops. I'm going to get this how we want it. Close it. Put, again, our cutting pad on top. All right, and crank it through. The other way was probably perfectly fine, honestly, but I figured I might as well show you the way that is going to turn out nicer. Okay, so let me move this. We'll turn our paper back around here. And there we have it. So this has the little, the cables facing up. Okay, just like that. This one is as well. It's just a little bit more damp on the back. You get a nicer feel from the front. It actually, you can tell it's making noises. It does work a lot better that way. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this onto our card base, okay? I am going to give it just a minute just to let, not want to say let it dry, but kind of just to let it settle. And in the meantime, we're going to work on these. So what we're going to do is we're going to just fold these in half like that. Kind of all around. Doesn't really matter what way. I think it'll be fun looking no matter what. If you are a little bit more OCD with your cardstock, you could also pick like only reds. That way the reds would match. So if you only want to do reds and yellows, you could only do the pieces that have coordinating. So you could have like a completely red and yellow wreath. You could have a completely green wreath. You could do this for, I'm not sure if this is appropriate or not, but you could do a Hanukkah wreath in blue. I don't know if someone would want that, but I'm sure anyone loves to get a card. Just going to keep folding these in half. Okay. And they don't have to be exactly in half. And I'm folding mine to the right. I'm right-handed. But you could also always fold them to the left if you wanted to instead. Either way is good. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to put these together with a little glue dot. And what I'm going to do on some of them I'm going to put flat, and then some of them I'm going to raise up. So I'm going to put a glue dot on these. And to kind of get it so these pieces stay together, I'm going to put it right here in the center so it holds both of them on the bottom layer, and then we'll switch it on the top. So that's nice right there. Just like that. And then you can kind of arrange these really, you know, however you like. So we'll start here. It's probably best if you kind of get like a top, bottom, and a left and a right. That way you can build it from there. But again, great way to use your scraps if you have a lot of scraps. I am going to put another layer down before I pop a layer up. But I want to make sure that I kind of space them out a little bit. This kind of really, if you think about it, to me anyway, it looks a little bit like a country wreath, which is very pretty and super in style. All right, we'll get another one. Oops, my glue dots are getting a little out of control here. If you haven't already, make sure you check out the store, Rachthestamper.wordpress.com. Stampin' Up! Is having a really big sale right now. A lot of clearance items, a lot of stuff being retired that will no longer be available. Unfortunately, some of it is and some of it is not on sale. So, all right, now what we're going to do is we're going to get some dimensionals. And I always use these even to the very bitter end. So with these little ones here at the end, I'll just kind of nip them kind of not like in half or in thirds because they're nice for little tiny pieces. These think those are already done. And what we'll do is we will put a dimensional just right here. And then we're going to just build up another layer. So you can put it in front. You can make your circle smaller. Whatever it is you want to do. You don't have to do the, you know, the entire layers. You can make them a little bit smaller if you'd like. Let's see. You could make it so your hole is big. And then what we'll do, let me put one more in here. I think I might just, because that's 4, so we'll stick with that. I don't want it to be too glommed up so it looks like a wreath. So if you prefer to have yours so it has a hole in the middle, only thing you're going to do is just, you can do one of two things. You can pull your, just pull your stuff out a little bit so it sticks up a little bit farther because it's still going to have a lot of level to it, even if it's not necessarily, if it's, what I want to say is, even if it's on top of something else, it's still going to have layers. So you could still have that hole in the middle. And you definitely will be able to see past it to make this like a wreath. Okay. And then the other thing you could do, if you'd like, you can always nip these in half. So you have, like, if you want to put a little half in here, and what we'll do is we'll trim it down so it's a little bit shorter so it doesn't impede. Put one right here on the top. And we'll do one of these little green buddies down here. Okay. So the only thing you really still have left to do, you can add a really nice greeting to this. There you go. There's your little wreath greeting, but I'm going to add some ribbon. So this is the Baker's Twine Trio Pack. This is on clearance. Hopefully it's still there right now. But this has gold, cherry cobbler, and garden green. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bow, and I'm going to put this on our wreath. And we could do this 2 ways. You can do one of 2 things. I'm going to show you, and you guys can decide which one you want to do on your card. So you can make your little bow. Just make it a tiny bit smaller. It's a little obnoxiously large. I'm going to trim the ends off. All right, let me just bring this in just a smidge. We're going to put this on with a glue dot. And this is where I was going to say you can do your choice of things. So put this right up top here. Now, if you want to, you could make this look like you have a bow, like you have your little wreath hanging on your door, and you could put this over so it looks like your wreath. And if that's the case, you're just going to hook this little piece in here to your glue dot. My glue dot's already on there. It's being a little crazy right now. So you could hook that on. Now you want to do this before you hook your card in. So you could hook that on there as well. Or if you don't, you're going to just keep it just as it is with your little bow. Make this a little tiny bit tighter. There we go. Okay. All right, and the only thing we have left to do is to adhere this to our base layer. So we're going to just go ahead and put some snail adhesive onto our base. But again, a great way to get rid of your scraps if you'd like. The other thing you can do too, if you want to definitely have a really definitive circle, is you could cut out with a like a 3/4 inch punch, and you could put it in the center. That way you build it around there, and you could kind of just start out with it in the center. That way, if that's how you like it, you make sure you leave yourself a really large hole. So again, this is definitely more country. This, if you have the bird builder, definitely could use this on a variety of stuff as well. You could use this with circles and just do a circle wreath with, like, so they look like Christmas balls. You could do it with cream or white. Both of them look pretty. Add yourself a little greeting here to the bottom. So thanks for taking time to watch, guys. I hope you enjoyed this card. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com. Also, if you would like a 2017 New Occasions catalog, you can send me an email there with your full name and mailing address, and I'll get you one out right away. As always, make sure you follow me on YouTube, and you'll be the first to know when we put out a new video. And I also have a newsletter now, so if you'd like to be signed up for the newsletter, once again, just shoot me your email and give me your permission at rachthestamper@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day.